had two things I wanted to.
Oh, you can talk now.
Yes.
Barely.
When Rick came to us and wanted to voice his concerns about speeding traffic on Jefferson Avenue, we had talked about it when he was an alderman and nothing was done. And I find it inexcusable. It goes this many years, same old problem for the people that live in our town. And I thought, what on earth can we do to remedy this? And it became personal after I thought about it. I grew up on East Severe. My grandmother raised me. They used that road like a speedway. They went from Wilcox up to Eastman Road. When my grandmother's son, he was like 5 or 6 years old, him and two little boys, they were in a homemade wagon, and they went down Federal Street into East Severe, and they were squashed. They were run over by a car, and that was when cars weighed something. It's not like the tin cans with wheels we ride in now. So when I was a child, she was terrified for us to be near the road, to say the least. And when I got old enough to be afraid and have no sense, I was afraid to cross the road because people flew on the road. They had no mercy. You were afraid of being run over. And if you had an animal and it got loose and got out on the road, it was history. I don't know what the attitude was about speeding back then, but within, I don't know how many years it's been now, somebody in the town came up with the idea of putting stop signs on the intersecting roads that be severe, so it became a four-way stop. And these people that were speeding could not accelerate and fly down that road and do potential harm to other people. I talked to Stacy, and he went to see about the speeding, but I don't think he really had the time to do it. He said something about Sunday. Well, Sunday, that doesn't amount to hill of beans. So he said that he thought it might be best.
You're in the South, welcome to the South. I'm from here.
Okay, good. So he said that he thought it would be a good idea if it was put in the newspapers that the town was considering about trying to eliminate the speeding on Jefferson Avenue, and that we would appreciate the input from the people that live in that area. The idea of putting stop signs there, we could use two roads. Rick and I talked about it. We wouldn't have to put stop signs on every road, make it a four-way stop on every one that intersects Jefferson, but maybe even just one would be enough to slow them down. Either that, or if the people who live in that area want to take it upon themselves to start calling in and reporting the people that are doing it. Because there were particular cars in my neighborhood that sped up and down the road all the time, and my husband got fed up with it one time and called the police, and they said, oh yeah, we know who it is. Knew what house they lived in. So it's normally the same old people that do this day in and day out. You want to add anything to this, Rick?
Well, Vice Mayor, I thank you for looking into that for me and everything. I also had to talk with Ms. Woods there too, and she seems to be enthusiastic about it. There are some questions that I was curious about that after we left, I should have stopped by, but I talked to the Vice Mayor. And now, since it's not a state road, I mean, we could do about anything we want to, couldn't we? Because I don't think Kingsport had to.
We can, Rick. I've already looked into it.
Oh, we can?
I've already looked into it.
Oh.
I've talked to someone at Knoxville. They said that as long as it isn't state, that we're not touching something that's touching the 11W, it's our business. We don't have to talk to TDOT and do anything with it.
Oh, well,
It's gonna be the board here.
yeah.
Whether we take it upon ourselves to try to remedy a problem that has existed for decades.
Yeah.
I'm just tired and fed up with things not being done for people that live in this town.
We might be able to do more than just that one. Probably there are other roads.
Well, there's Hammond. Look at Hammond. Look how scared everybody is of Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you ought to see my neighborhood, how they fly.
Yeah. I mean,
if we can get help
yeah.
with the newspaper,
Right.
if they can encourage people to contact they can call us or call here at City Hall or send little notes in somehow to us.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the biggest thing for me is, whether I know you or not, whether I met you once or have known you forever since I've been here in Mount Carmel for a very, very long time, I don't want to see anybody on this board or anybody in here or people I don't know get hit or broadsided on that one fast street that I know. Well, I'm sure there's others. I mean, I know there's others in Mount Carmel. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it if you're, I mean, you're out for the day or with your kids or your husband or somebody, and some dumb money turns around and they hit you, and all it took was just X amount of dollars to put up some sort of traffic control, which would have saved a lot of grief and a lot of heartache. It's not, your life is you only got one, and you know, and everything. And I know you guys can do it. I still have faith in every board that comes, and I get a chance to sit in front of them. But on a different note, I'll tell you what, if you guys ever want to be immortalized forever, get with the other boards and go before the county and find out where we're paying almost $100 still on a tag tax, the highest in Tennessee, when it's their fault that they couldn't budget their money and we're paying for it. That's where y'all can be immortalized. I guarantee you, people would just, I mean, man, there'd be a parade so big and screaming aloud so much, it'd be unreal. You ought to be heroes to everybody, but you'd have to work with the other boards in the other areas and go up there and tell them, look, you know, you're not representing our people. We have to hear it from them, and you guys aren't listening to anybody. But again, thank you, and thank you, Ms. Wood, for your
John right here might can answer some of your questions if you just would ask him.
Oh, I didn't know.
He's on the board.
Are you? Oh. I know they had some relief for a little while, but probably before you ever were on the county
Very
commission.
much so. That was before.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's your fault, but that time's got to stop. I mean, you know what? If I still remember right, we still get subsidies from the state to keep the 11W clear out here. Mount Carmel's little, Churchill, it's a little bit bigger. But we take care of our own. We got our own police department, our own fire and rescue. The only time I think anybody ever goes there, I'm sorry, Carol, I didn't mean to look at you, is when they got to go to jail or they got to go pay taxes. But you know, my license, tax, my county tax, all this, that's taken care of down in Churchill. I don't go to Rogersville, and people say, well, why don't you go support it? It's 20-something miles down the road, and Kingsport is no more, from right to this spot, no more than a third of a mile. I mean, why would I do that? I guarantee you, if you poll people, and if you're our representative, this just can't go on. This is ridiculous. And I tell you what, people that I know of, and I said, you got to come to Hawkins County. It's nice, it's beautiful. It's the last bit of Tennessee that you're going to see what it used to look like with farmland and mountains that nobody lives on or ever walked in. But people will go to Sullivan County for taxes and services because there's more of it and they're paying less for it. Yeah, well, it depends on the house, obviously, the size. But no, I mean, that's why I'm encouraging this board, because I'm just one little person. I can't do it. To stick together and work with your other boards that are around in the county and say, this is enough. They can't be doing this. It's not right. They didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't mismanage the money when the state had to come in and take over. I didn't do that.
Now, what was your name again?
Rick Gabriel. Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, and Rick did it when he was serving. He approached was he the representative, one of our state representatives? Remember that man in Johnson City about our one hole underpass? Remember?
Davis?
Yes, he was a nice man.
Yeah, I wish he would have stayed in. He got voted out.
Vice Mayor, I have contacted our current state rep about the truss
I
line.
have too. That's what I'm trying to tell.
Yeah, he has guaranteed me that he's gonna be working with us in
Well,
sex.
I had talked,
Timothy, is it Timothy?
Hill.
Timothy Hill,
I
yeah.
talked to Timothy Hill. What was the other guy that showed up for the, Christmas parade, what was his name?
Gary Hicks.
Gary Hicks, I talked to him, I talked to Lundberg's office, and I talked to Diana Hashburn's office. The man I talked to, Diana Hashburn, was a very nice man, I, enjoyed talking to him. The one that I talked to was Lundberg, he seemed promising. I had talked to a man in Atlanta who worked for Norfolk Southern and talked to him about our situation. And they're able to pull up on their computers our one hole and view it and see it exactly what it looks like and how small a space we have for cars to line up in order to get through there. The man who worked for Norfolk Southern gave a rough estimate of $10 million. Well, that $10 million in this day and time is nothing.
Yeah.
And I told him about seeing the article in the newspaper, where the federal government was giving out funds to help the railroads fix the railroad crossings where they created a situation for towns. And I told him about us having the public works, the police, the fire, the EMS, our elementary school, the largest subdivision that we have in Mount Carmel, the city park, and the fact that that road is used by people coming out of Carter's Valley trying to get to 11W. And I told them the thing's 114 years old, and we've been held hostage long enough. Now, when Rick and the board I was on, we approached TDOT, we went to Nashville, we took, I don't know how many letters written by children. The children at the school told about not being able to eat breakfast because they got to school late. They talked about their mothers and daddies cussing and having words with other people trying to take their turn, trying to get through the underpass. Talked about their parents being upset, worried that they were gonna lose their job because they were late getting to work. We never had much of any response from TDOT, did we, Rick?
No, not at all.
Basically nothing.
No,
Nothing.
they just gaslighted, this is
Yeah.
all.
And if you could have read those letters from those children and it not touched your heart,
Mhm.
something was wrong
No,
with
they
you.
didn't.
It was pitiful, absolutely pitiful.
But again, I want to thank the board and everything, and I know you all have your differences and have different things, you know, and represent different ideas, but just think of it as a big soup. I mean, you got potatoes, onions, every ingredient for that soup. If you could just find some way to get onto something and pull that passion in and make it the best soup in the world, it'd be damn near invincible to anybody and be the most, everybody be jealous of it. And it can happen. It really, really can. I got a little dinner date.
Okay.
Yeah, me. My stomach's growling. Thank you all, board.
There's one thing you forgot.
What, sir?
This area down here, they have got the worst damn drivers you ever seen in your life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Don't print that, Chris.
There's no stop sign on Cypress right here. Like right here at Jefferson Cypress, that's where you're saying there should be a four-way stop,
I was,
or suggesting should be. I mean, that's the most logical it looks like to me
Well,
as far as speed.
well, that was the issue, even Carl too said, the issue isn't the people going up the hill or coming down because they know they have to stop at the bottom. Evidently, it's going farther on up the road.
So
It would be Rick who would give you
Holes?
the best idea.
Yeah, I was looking kind of at the distance of where you're actually able to pick up speed and
Yeah.
stuff. So like at Holston right there, you would be able to put that without necessarily making a four-way. You could just put another stop sign on Jefferson. Coming into there, just make that a stop sign where you'd have to slow down again there, slow down there, and that leaves the remaining area to pick up speed would just be between Holly, Mimosa, and Pine. Kind of logically, if spots divided out to slow somebody down.
Yeah, we might not even have to put up 2 streets, maybe 1, I don't know, we'd have to.
I mean, that could take care of a problem on Cypress too, if I recall right, that's a pretty straight road, right?
Yeah.
Cypress is pretty straight shot through there.
Yeah.
So I mean, that would just put kind of in right dead center in the middle of that, would put a slow down, breaking that up too.
Yeah.
What about the one over on Kaywood coming down State Hill?
Well, that was it used to be an issue, but I don't notice that many people speeding on Kaywood anymore. It was always the stop sign. People, if they didn't see anybody coming in off the highway or anybody coming off of Main Street, they just don't bother to stop.
Yeah.
That, it's not as bad as it was.
They cruise through it,
Yeah.
does it?
Yeah.
Stop
Stop
signs
signs
are
are
for
for
everybody.
everybody.
Stop sign up. I was glad that you brought that up, because any streets you have about legally.
Railroad,
Yeah, the speed.
It's on city streets
And the road, of course.
Yeah, I hope,
I think they should
I was,
go right out here.
I was encouraged with the man that I talked to with Lindbergh's office and,
Oh, I think you have to have a- I think you're right, you
I was
have to have a
impressed with those
traffic
2 men that I
I'm
talked
telling you
to.
where the
So,
most effective
I'll
place
be
to put
willing
it
to
is.
work with them.
Because if you ever
There
get,
needs to be this, speed sign coming as you come down that hill.
Would we have to schedule a public hearing at the actual
Backing out
meeting
here,
versus
it's
workshop?
dangerous.
I would
think that would be
do, I
a
would
great
do
idea.
that, I would
Yeah.
possibly have some traffic engineer look at, decide where the most appropriate spot is, to make sure we don't create some kind of hazard, all right?
Right.
And then I would have a public meeting, because it's all part of the educational thing. People can blow through stop signs too if they, or just barely slow down. So, yeah, public education, input from the town, some kind of expert report, what you're doing to see where the place is at. And then the board could decide that based upon the input, but I would seek some kind of professional advice,
Yeah.
something maybe MTS could do for us.
I bet the county guy there does the roads.
Yeah,
I
but
bet they do.
it's not a county road, it's a city road.
But he give you advice on saying, well,
Right now, you need to.
Your closest is probably, you could hopefully have somebody do a job for you at Kingsport, because they have traffic engineers up there and stuff. If you could have somebody
'Cause this
That's
shouldn't-
good.
freelance for you. or
Yeah, I said,
something.
this shouldn't be a very substantial,
I wouldn't think it would be, I know, I don't know.
I mean, so
But
just.
that's the process, is yes, you can do it.
Yeah.
and just-
So could we want to put it on the agenda, kind of get that process started? At least getting the public
Well,
hearing set up, getting the
yes,
study
that's what we
done.
want. Hit the newspapers first and let people that live on that road and are affected by this voice their concerns.
I think stop signs are a much more appropriate option than something like speed bumps or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes
slow down with
roads.
that more, it just.
Nobody.
I don't agree with speed bumps, because if they go fast enough and hit those speed bumps, they can go airborne and go
Yeah.
someplace.
And winter time too, we plow with the snow and stuff, it'd be aggravating.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, they don't have any problems in Deerfield, and they've got speed bumps in that big subdivision. And Churchill.
They pretty much know where they're at, though, so they know the.
One little halt tree comes down, stop sign, it's a 53-foot bus. And I've got the safety report on it, about putting 3 stop signs there. And I got shot down in here, and I think, Carl, you remember that, didn't you? And that school bus, one of these days, I hate to say this, there's gonna be some idiot come down there flying, and they're not gonna be able to stop that school bus. Because he's got 53-foot turn and a 3-way stop. I think would
And
work.
that's at your house, right, as you come out of your house?
As you go up that hall tree.
Yeah.
And, you know, a 3-way stop will work, but the thing of it is, you're still gonna have somebody come over that hill flying, and they're gonna hit somebody at the stop sign.
Yeah, we got about hit the other day, coming out contractors, and the school bus is number 22 that you're talking about.
It's 53 foot long,
I meant the number on the school bus.
and you know, it takes a lot to turn that school bus around through there, and you gotta watch both traffic, cause they're coming east, north and south, both ways. They don't get back on about that school bus. Shoot.
I wish the town could find the money, it'd have to come through a grant where Hammond Avenue could be widened. there's some places there, it's terrible, that one real old, White House, and that big old tree it sits in
Yeah.
the front, my God, that's just, you
Well-
shut your eyes when you go by some of that
I
stuff,
know.
and down that hill at the park, that,
They'll come over and onside road when you're going up the hill at the same time.
I read a little bit of stuff on, roads in general, and it said that evidently the town would have to make a claim of, if I'm saying this correctly, eminent domain, where we take some of people's, a little bit of their property, but if they live on that road, they ought to appreciate the town making an effort to widen it, if that would ever happen.
I think eminent domain would probably take care of that.
That's eminent domain for sure.
But I'm hoping, we're getting a new police department in here, and I hope they get out there and take names and kick ass
On what?
on the speeders. New police department, it's coming. It's a coming.
Well, I hope so.
Well, we're gonna get it. We're gonna have a good one. Or I'm concerned, it's gonna be the best this town I've ever seen. Now, you might get people like, maybe not like coming here to court, and slow down.
I agree with that. I've been the victim of several car wrecks, several.
Maybe we need to get a new judge going to this chief.
You just need to talk to them. You just need to want business for you.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Mindy, Emily,
All that I have is a resolution for, CDBG grant we're gonna be applying for. And, it's going to help purchase a ladder truck for the fire department, which it's probably 3 to 4 years out, I would say. But we're just getting the process started, and Mitch has been working with the development district to, get that going.
It's a grant.
Yes.
What does?
Save us money.
How much would it take on a truck?
Community development block, community development. I believe the last one, correct me if I'm wrong, the last one the town did was the water line improvements, on Cedar Street, Dover, up Montgomery, that kind of.
How much would it pay for the truck?
The grant pays up to $420,000.
And what does a ladder truck go for nowadays?
A new one?
Or what we will probably get?
Well, we still wouldn't be able to buy anything new out of them. I mean, for something new, you're looking a minimum of like 1.4 million. So we could just get something, 10 years or less, old, low mileage, something that the maintenance is not eating us alive on.
And we basically be half what we'll be owing, probably be 800,000 probably.
The town's amount, the matching amount is
Yeah.
is 84,000.
That's what we will pay on it.
Get 420, pay 84.
Wait, everything's going up in 5 years from now, we probably have to pay more than that, probably.
So I mean, we'll eventually have to have something either way, so if we can get,
We're going now.
we can only pay $80,000 versus $500,000
Yeah.
together.
So we don't have anything comparable to that over there right now?
We do. We have our current ladder truck. It's 24 years old and got 120,000 miles on it. And
We're
maintenance,
not gonna get rid of it though.
not until we replace it, no, sir.
What do you think you can get out of that?
The town paid about $20,000 for it 5 years ago because it was very well used.
I just thought about give that much for
It wasn't 5 years ago. I think I think it was like 2017, 2018.
I could park it in my driveway and squirt them down with water.
Yeah, I mean, it does what we need, and it continues to pass certification, but we spend a lot of money in maintenance to keep it to that level.
That truck basically serves this whole side of the county, don't it?
More or less, yes, sir. The truck came from Richmond, Virginia when it was bought, and it was well used there. I mean, a fire truck having 120-some thousand miles on it is unheard of.
Was this what the grant that you all were collecting, say, for short?
Yeah, this is to be eligible for the grant. Yeah, to be eligible for the grant, this is the one we were going door to door. We did the thing at the school. That's all
pre-work you have to do just to be eligible to apply.
I mean, looking at the amount of money that this would save if we were able to get the grant to buy the equipment, and then like, Alderman Gillum said, you take off then what we could get out of the other equipment to reduce down, that just kind of community talk, that would reduce our, maintenance costs on the one that's so old.
Absolutely.
That we're barely maintaining. It's
Absolutely.
kind of,
I mean, right now, we're before the next aerial test, which we usually do in December, we've already, saying nothing else happens between now and then, we're probably looking at 5,000 to 6,000 just in stuff that has to be done before the end,
so, I mean, I really appreciate the guys. I saw you all out in the community a couple times collecting signatures for this, and this could be a substantial amount of money that you're saving and getting the equipment that, like you said, not only just helps us, but helps the whole operating of the county.
Right. Hopefully it works out. I mean, we
I haven't
don't
seen
know.
it out in Kilby, which again, congrats. I thank you for you and your team.
Well, absolutely,
Great
that's
job doing
that's
that.
what we're here for.
When you apply for this, about how long does it take for you to hear that you're gonna get this?
It's a long process. My
I know.
understanding is we won't know that we're even going to be awarded until November or December. And then we won't have the money until, at best, this time next year, probably even a little later. Could be longer than that, but it's up to the development district.
And that has 3 years, just 3 to 5 years to spend it to actually.
I think that's right, yeah.
So is it a 50-50 grant or?
No, I mean, I think it works out, the percentages is like 90-10, basically. They will pay up to $420,000 for equipment. I think the town's, she told me the town's cost share of that would be, matching part would be $82,000.
No, any kind of stipulations to it?
For the truck. Just a truck. It has to be something to meet, that's kind of in those guidelines.
Okay.
Did we just buy a ladder truck or something 2 or 3 years ago?
We've had that, with the one we've had now was bought, I looked
We
it up.
talked about it.
It was bought in 2017.
I think that's one I'm thinking about. Then we bought the brush truck.
Right. The brush truck, just to update the board, the brush truck delivery is looking, I spoke to the manufacturer last week, it's first or second week of May. So
This year?
Yes, sir.
Do we have, how will the radio situation be affected with that? Will we have the radio take out the existing one put in there?
Yeah, I've got all the mobile, I actually finished work on that today. All the mobiles are good, the truck radios are good, they're all replaced. So we're just continuing to replace handhelds at this point.
Our fire department is now on the main channel.
So we still operate on the fire channel for fire calls, so that's still on the VHF system. But for medical calls, we operate on the EMS channel, which is the digital system that you have to have the new radios for.
Okay, that's the digital
That comes
system.
from the
Yes.
tower up there.
Yes, well, there's 3 towers.
There's 3 towers up there.
There's 3 towers in the county.
3 but there's one up here, right?
Bays Mountain.
No, Bays Mountain, that's what I'm
Fire's
talking
not
about.
on.
I thought we were talking about that before.
Will we have any further big expenditures with switching out the rest of our fire units when the county tells us?
No, we're just doing it, we have 11 handhelds, I mean, we'll just continue to buy, they're about $1,000 a piece right now, so we'll continue to buy 3 to 4 a year, and it hasn't happened yet, so I'd say the county is still probably a year to 2 at least out, so by the time it happens, we should be okay.
Okay.
On the old stuff, what you gonna do, put them on the good deals?
That's what we normally do. I keep some of the better stuff for events that we're doing here in town, or if we're out directing traffic, stuff like that, so that we don't have to use the super expensive radios.
Okay.
More gas too for it
Right.
than the small ones, yeah.
That's all I have.
Anybody else have anything?
I have one question. We have, previously there was a planning commission that talked about a digital map of the zoning. Have we, I'm kind of, it's something to get about that. Have we get any update on that?
I know we have access to the Mount Carmel zoning map through First Tennessee Development District. We have a link to get to that. As far as putting it on our website and accessing it that way, we've not done that yet. But
If As far as the website goes, I know it's managed by local government. Is there an option for it to be hosted by local government, but yet we would still have access to manage it in-house?
I would have to check with them.
Because I know I wouldn't want to moving where it's hosted becomes a hassle. It's doable, but it just is, we could have some downtime with it. I mean, having an ability to make more real-time changes, or for you to go in and add something, or go and update something, or even fix a spelling error on something, as there's some that needs to be done. Having the ability to do that in-house would be beneficial.
Yeah. I'll look into that.
Could you send us the link to that?
I'll see that to you. This person, I've got it.
Dean, if you could email that to me.
Yeah.
The only thing I have is for the Parks Committee. I passed out last month, the original Parks bylaws. That's 27 years old. My opinion is, and this is just my personal opinion, they should be updated every 10 years, like our ordinances and stuff are. Ordinances is done every 10 years. So I think our bylaws every 10 years needs to be looked at and updated. What we did 20 years ago is not necessarily what we do now. Even 10 years ago, it doesn't, what we did 10 years ago, we not necessarily do today. So I think it would be good if we updated our park bylaws and all the other bylaws that's older than 10 years. I did the Parks Committee. I also did a beer committee one. I have not submitted that to the city attorney to have him review it before I give it out to the board. I'll over that. But the Parks Committee, I handed you out tonight the proposed bylaws. Y'all to take a look at. The only significant changes that I did to it was reduce the number of members from 9 to 7. I've changed the board makeup to mayor and 1 alderman instead of mayor and 2 aldermen, and 5 citizens. Sort of cleaned up the language as far as the terms, the vacancies, things of that nature. And then I detailed what the officers' duties are for the chairman, the vice chair, and the secretary.
What number is that one?
It's 2-438. Of the minute. And I got that information from Robert's Rules of Law for board meetings and committee meetings.
While you're speaking of that, let me throw something in here. How many meetings are they allowed per year, and who gets paid and who don't get paid?
The alderman gets paid, the citizens does not.
Okay?
So if the mayor attends, she gets whatever her pay is for meetings, and then if both aldermen attend, whatever they get paid.
So if the other alderman attends, say if you've got 5 aldermen attend, so it's gonna be probably 3 of them shouldn't be getting paid.
Well, let's say, for instance, me and you attended a Parks meeting as citizens out there. We don't get paid.
We shouldn't.
But the ones that sit on this committee that sits behind this table gets paid.
Well, I don't agree with that, but you know, that's the law, that's the law.
Right, that's just how it's set up. I mean, I
Look,
agree
can
with
I
you,
ask you
but
why that you dropped the 2 aldermen out, 1 alderman out, and just have 1 alderman, and then the 7 members versus 9, because when we have members that are willing to go into a committee like this, especially the park, those members usually help us do things that we have to do in the park.
I understand that. My reason behind that is, in my opinion, you should not have more representation in a committee than you have on a board.
Makes sense.
there's 7 of us, right? So in my opinion, you should have 7 committee members.
Well, if we have park commissions members and there's 9, that just gives us more help, that we need in a park.
Well, you can ask for volunteers, that doesn't necessarily mean that they need to be members. And if you can get 7 members to show up, that'd be great.
Well, we have our members usually that shows up.
The last one, you had what, 5?
Yeah, we did last time, because
And
there was other
that's-
things going on, yes.
In my experience on the board, most of the time, it's usually between 5 and 7 people that shows up out of the 9.
Well, it's always been 9.
I understand that, 20 years ago.
Well, this
So-
one is different.
How many
several-
meetings have they been having last year?
Well, last year they only had 1, but this year they've got 6 scheduled, correct?
Yes.
6 meetings?
Yes.
Why?
One every other month, because they're supposed to meet quarterly.
Well, that's what's in the bylaws.
The
I
bylaws.
hope I ain't speaking out of turn, but I
Yeah.
think it
Well,
is,
you
it does
can
say. the
follow
bylaws.
it. You read them back and forward.
The bylaws it states quarterly, right?
I think it says.
Or every other month?
I think it says it as well.
Because I didn't change that part, I don't think.
Cause that's costing the town a lot of money.
Well,
If you
see,
go-
Jim brought it up, we brought it up before we didn't have things come up, but the bylaws do say that you have to have them every other month, or
Yeah.
quarterly, rather.
Right,
And,
that part I
so,
don't think I
we,
changed.
But if you've got 12 people on the board, and you got 7 aldermen on there,
well, you got 7 on.
well, I'm just using it as a fact, as a figure. Then you got the mayor, time you pay all this, that's a hunk of money. That's a big hunk of money. And if you do it every month,
We don't do
How
it
much do you
every
think
month.
we get paid for these meetings? I mean, seriously, how much do you think we get paid?
I don't know how much to get paid, but if it was me, I wouldn't charge my daggone penny. I didn't take this job for the money.
Obviously, I was.
And the other part that I put in here too is under 2-408 functions. I'll just read the paragraph to you.
Well, wait.
Dash 2-408 on the new one. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Parks Committee shall serve in an advisory capacity and shall report to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen regarding the information or implementation of the park's 5-year plan, any desired maintenance of the park or equipment, let the city manager know of any grants that may be available to the town. If the committee members is really interested in the Parks Committee, they can assist her with maybe finding out grants and letting her know about those grants. The mayor and aldermen shall put on the agenda of Board of Mayor and Aldermen any matters that the committee needs to relay to the board. The chairman shall then relay the information to the board once that agenda comes up and the chairman is recognized. Whether it's you, mayor, or which alderman that you choose to put on the committee, can put that on the agenda, and then the president can elaborate on the agenda item when it comes up. The rest of it's pretty much the same as it was in the old one.
Basically, the function is basically maintenance of the park, right? We get going, that's what their purpose is needed for.
Pretty much, and to follow up with the 5-year plan, help Emily implement the design during the different stages. Emily can't do it all on her own.
Well, I've got a copy of that right here.
Yeah,
But it also, during that time, remember I said it was supposed to be park and recreation? And you said, no, y'all said no, it was supposed to be just park. Well, right here in this, plan, it says park and park and recreation recommendations for the town of Mount Carmel include, and this is the one that we have. And it calls it Parks and Recreation.
the reasoning behind us saying no to Parks and Recreation is because the bylaws just says parks. It doesn't say Parks and Recreation.
Well, this should be changed then.
So that the implementation of the 5-year park plan is the main goal for the Parks Committee, to work through that list and make recommendations to the board on how to proceed with those, and to assist Emily with maybe finding more grants out there if they know of any, to let her know and see if we can apply for those.
If you want to say anything about this, because you've been studying this and stuff. Okay.
We've been down this road before with Jim coming up with his own personal ideas of what the Parks Committee is. I just think if you're gonna update the Parks Committee, and the Parks Committee already updated, then we ought to send it to you guys and let y'all study it, and if y'all agree, vote on it. If you don't agree, come back to the Parks Committee and say, no, we don't agree with that. But that's the way it should work. The way we're doing it this way seems more like well, it's just not we people, it's like a dictator. I mean, if you're gonna sit down and make up the rules, you know what I'm saying, and there's no input from no one else, especially the people that are volunteering to be on the committee, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I don't have a vote in it, I'm just got a voice. And, you know, and at no point did it, I mean, I'm the chairman of the Parks Committee, that's nothing to nobody, I'm sure, but at no point did Jim come to me and say, what do you think about this? I would think that that's the way this should work, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But you all do whatever you want to, I'm just putting my opinion out there. And so,
The Parks Committee just follows the regulations set by this board.
Do you care to put together?
do what?
Do you care to put together some bylaws so we can just?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've actually done that before.
Were they submitted to the board?
No,
Neither one of them was.
no, because it was,
Before we accept this.
because none of them was really discussed amongst people. You know, and the board ought to sit down in just like sit around the round table and discuss, you know, what is the best way to do this with the help, maybe Emily or somebody else. She's the one getting her hands dirty and doing all the dirty work right now. So, you
like I
know,
said, this is
she's
just a
the
proposal.
one that knows where she needs help, and that's just my opinion. She knows where she needs help at the
Well,
park and where
he
she
said
don't.
this is just his opposed,
A proposal, y'all
Right.
can
so
do whatever.
you wanna wait before we adopt this
So-
and go over it with the committee, is
And-
what you're saying?
Well,
Yeah, and so my thing also,
What, Mindy?
And have Jeff and the committee approve.
Yeah, that's what he's
Proposed bylaws as
saying.
well.
yeah, and I don't
Just
care to
hold on
take
to this,
recommendations
hold
from
on to
the
the old.
one doing the work, mostly, and you know, she's got to, but where I'm concerned, if I'm gonna volunteer my time, I want it to be of some value. I don't wanna be on the Parks Committee and do absolutely nothing. That's absolutely insane. You know, I wanna be of some value. You know what I'm saying? I want to be used. I mean, if we're gonna have a committee, I want to be used to do whatever it is that you all need us to do. You know, if we're just here, and you all do what you want to, and she does what I want to, and we are nothing, then I'll step down. There's no need in me wasting my time
Now,
for that.
Well,
you,
there's plenty to do at the park, that's why we have a 5-year plan.
yeah, okay, your committee meets next Wednesday, right?
Next Wednesday.
So
And
you
actually, I
can
sent
discuss that with
the
them
agenda
then.
out. I don't think I sent that agenda out to everyone. I sent it out to the ones that are on that committee, which is,
Yeah.
I think
Where does it meet?
Emily's got it. Huh?
We're gonna be here,
They-
right here, next Wednesday,
Teresa,
5:30.
Teresa gets it, and Darby gets it, and Emily got it. I mean, I don't care to send it to everybody, but one of the things that was on there was, and I didn't know you was gonna do this, but one of the things on there was redo the bylaws to better serve
It's music.
the park now. I mean, we didn't have no meetings last year because I didn't feel like that we had anything to do. Every time I asked, nothing needs to be done. You know, there was things getting done. It wasn't going through us, and
That saved the town a lot of money.
and so we only met one time. But then it came up that, you know, the rumor, whether it's rumor or not, we were going to do away with the Parks Committee if we ain't gonna have no meetings. And so we don't want that.
To be honest with you, if we don't come up with an updated parks bylaw that we all can agree on, that would be my recommendation next.
Yeah. And so, and I'm okay with any of it, but you know, if we're not gonna be of any value, it really is no need to have it. But I think there's value in a bunch of other people getting involved instead of just one or two people calling the shots. And
This
so
one
I just
also have some activities, if I understand it right.
say again, I didn't hear you.
I said, if I understand it right, you're going to have some activities going on.
Well, I don't
there,
know.
right?
I don't know. That's been thrown out there as well, and so, you know, is that the way the park committee is gonna go? I don't know. And so do you want that to be a part of what they do? I don't know. And so I've read through that thing, the master plan several times,
Discuss it
front to
with
back.
Discuss it with your.
There's a lot of
committee.
stuff in there, and so to do away with the Parks Committee and only go through the, the Community Outreach Committee, or whatever it's called, I think there's enough work in that thing to justify having two committees. But there's a lot in there, and there's a lot of money, and there's a lot of stuff, you know, it may or may not get done, but it's pretty exciting to read through. There's a lot of good stuff in there, honestly.
One of the concerns I had when I looked through this thing, it says that it's going to, if I understand it correctly, relocate the swings and playground equipment behind the baseball field. Well, some of those kids hit those balls out of the park, out of that field. I don't know how far. I don't know how
Well,
far
I
the
think
equipment's going to sit back.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the ones that's speaking of is the one on the lower field and left field, and those they've been moved this week or in the last week or two.
The only thing it needs to do,
But
the
so
top one is, it needs to have a net, because there are girls and boys that can hit that ball over that fence, and it will go into
And
the back.
that's always been the case. I mean, they've been playing ball up there for 40 years, right? So they've always been there. Right?
That's just in the plan, it's nothing's happened.
This is something that has to be done, or needs to be done.
That's what was put in the plan.
The swings have been removed from down on the bottom, haven't they?
No, they're still down there.
Well, I thought there was another one.
There's something been removed. I'm not sure. I can't think. There was a jungle gym. There was that thing where you throw it up and it comes out the hole.
Is there where, the learning center going?
Yeah, I think they're planning on paving that. I'm not sure where they are in that process.
I think they're concrete.
They poured it? Okay.
There wasn't a form yesterday, and there was one today. A form. When I say a form for concrete, is what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I know that's.
So, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going in there. And, you know, I think that's on my agenda as well, trying to figure out what we're doing.
And that from the T-Mobile grant,
Yeah.
outdoor classroom.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, what time frame do you think you would have a set of bylaws up and printed? Because I want to get this
Well,
resolved.
what is your expectation to get that? I mean, are you expecting it like really quick, or in like the next, not this meeting, we got a meeting Wednesday. Obviously, we're not gonna get it by then. You want it the next meeting after that, or the meeting after that, or what's your expectation by the end of summer, or?
I would like to have it by the next workshop. That gives you
This
4
next
weeks.
workshop, okay, and so.
And they give you a month.
Does anybody know the date of that one?
It will be April the 11th.
4/11?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you could send that to all the board members so we can preview it before the workshop.
And so, the one that they've got today, that you've done today,
You can have,
is it the same one that you've done before?
no, it's different.
A little bit different?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can have this copy.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything? Well, I want to tell you this, and I hate to tell you, because it breaks my heart. Deans and Sons, up here, that has been for years, Evelyn Dean and Jim owned the business, and Evelyn passed away this morning. She's been on, life support for the last 3 or 4 days. And, of course, she caught COVID. And the COVID, she's got a bad heart and diabetes bad, and she was almost bedfast, but she was sitting in a recliner all the time. And, Justin, David told me yesterday that in the last 3 days before they put her on the respirator or whatever, that, they got bags this big, 7 in 3 days of fluid off her heart. And so she was struggling to breathe and everything, but she did pass away, today, and so I'm going back to be with the family for a while, and just keep them in your prayers, because the boys and the grandchildren are having it really rough right now.
And Jim.
And because she helped the family together really, and she was a wonderful lady. So keep her in your prayers. I'm not supposed to probably say that in the board, but who cares? Throw me off the board.
Motion adjourned.
Anybody else have anything? No? Do I have a motion?
Just
Do I have a
give it to you.
second? You make a motion to adjourn? Okay, do I have a second? Okay, this adjourned, thank you.